Hello viewers, let's learn multithreading today. So what is multithreading, why we use it, and we'll do some programming exercise as well in Java. So multithreading means that you have multiple threads of execution inside the same application. So a thread is typically like a separate CPU which executes on your application. Thus a multithreaded application is like an application that has multiple CPU executing different parts of the code at the same time. Although the CPU can remain one or more than one. Usually a single CPU will set its execution time among multiple threads, switching between executing each of the threads for a given amount of time. It is also possible to have the threads of an application to be executed by different CPUs. Now, a normal life cycle of thread revolves around new, runnable, running, waiting, and dead state. A thread, when it gets started, when a thread is in new state, then from start or run method, it starts running, and from running state it can go to either dead or it can go to sleep or wait, and from waiting state it can go to again running state as well, and from running state, if it finishes the execution, it can go to the dead state. Now thread start a thread, and it goes to the running state, and after execution it can go to the dead state, and or from running it can go to waiting, sleep, or blocked state. Now wait and sleep are some of the IO interrupt operations that can send the thread to the waiting or sleep mode, and from there it can again come back to the running. Notify and notify all are some of the methods using which you can notify the thread to start which is in waiting state. Now as I said, multi-threading application can happen over a single CPU or more than one CPU. In case of more than one CPU, each CPU can process one or more than one thread. So for example, suppose you have an application where multiple users write to the database, then multiple user requests can be served by multiple threads, where in the green color threads which is in running is shown. Some of the threads can be in waiting state, and some of the threads can be in inactive state as well. Now what are the advantages that we get from by doing multi-threading? So multi-threading allows multiple operations to perform at once. It saves times of execution of multiple operations, which means also it is a better utilization of CPU. Threads are independent of each other, so if a single thread fails, it doesn't impact the other thread. So here in this example, if thread of user 1 have some error, then in that case user 2, 3, and 4 will not get impacted. Or if user 2 throws some IO exception, then user 1, 3, and 4 won't get impacted by this. So today we learned what is multi-threading in Java. Now we'll do some coding exercise to see how it works in real life. So let's get started with some real-time example of multi-threading in Java. I'll use this editor. So first of all, let's create a class that will implement or extend the thread class, or it can implement the runnable interface. So I'll create a class multi-threading test class. First of all, we'll see with the help of thread class. So I'll extend thread class, and I'll override a method, run method. So public void run, and since I'm overriding, so it's a good practice to add annotation override. And here I'll do some the system print dot. So for int I equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus, and I'll print system dot out dot print ln value of I plus I, and I'll call this from the main class. It's multi-threading test, new multi-threading test, and here I'll call empty dot start. and since it is going to throw the error, so I'll add it with the try and catch exception ex. Now let's try to call this method. So here you can see okay, empty dot start will have a semicolon, so you can see value is printed 5 0 to 4. Now you can call same using a run method as well. Okay, that will also work, but until unless you will call the start, so it won't create the new thread. So for example, let me create empty multithreading test2, and if I'll call run, and if I'll call empty2.run. So what is the difference? Let me show you. So you can see here right hand side, first of all empty gets executed, and after that empty1 gets executed, and there is no parallelism. We didn't get parallelism, but as soon as we will start and run it in separate thread by method start, then it will both of them will run in a separate thread. Okay, now to see which thread is running, let me let's do that. Thread number equal 0. I'll create a constructor, public constructor, and thread number. I just wanted to print which thread is executing, and just to see how multithreading is working. And here I'll print thread number okay, and I'll give in, so let's see, and I'll pass thread number from here. One, and I'll pass 2 from here. Let's see. So you can see how which thread number is getting executed. We'll do some more coding exercise. So we have seen that the thread order is not predictable. It can print in any order. Although I'm passing and starting one by one, but since thread will run parallelly, so you can see there is no order which is predictable. Thread can run in any order. Now instead of doing this, let me add a loop here. So I'll start in for int I equal to 0, I less than 4, I plus plus, and what I'll do, I'll try to I'll call it from here. Instead of 1, I'll pass I here. I'll do the same execution again, and so you can see the thread number, how it's getting started, and how it is executing here. So the value you can see, and along with the thread, like it's not necessary that thread 1 will start always, or thread 0 will start always first, or thread 3 will start always first. Any thread can start in any order. This is what the beauty of parallelism and multithreading is. Now along with the thread, you can also do the same thing using Runnable Interface. So if you need to do Runnable, we know the benefit of using interface. You need to implement it. You need to implement Runnable, and if you're running implementing Runnable, then call by thread td equal to new thread, and here I can pass empty, and I can call empty dot start method. So there is a different way if you're using Runnable or if you're using thread, how to call or how to start a new thread. Let me try to run it as well. Implements. Okay, and I have not terminated it, so I should terminate the line as well. Here it will be td.start because it's the thread class that I am using. You can see again the value of I and thread number which is getting executed. The thread number is not in order. First of all 1, 0, 2 and then 1 and 3. 3 gets executed in the middle and also gets executed at the end. So the order is not fixed, and if you want to suppose for any thread, if you want to if any thread throw any error, then the rest of the thread doesn't get impacted. To do that, we can check here if thread number is equal to 3, I'll throw new runtime exception. That can also be thrown. So you can see other thread gets executed, doesn't get impacted even if one thread is having error. So this is the beauty of multi-threading. I hope you guys understand it better now, and if you have any question related to multi-threading Java, do let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Do like and subscribe the video if you think these are helpful.